Multiphonic high-fidelity recording is not just the mechanical reproduction of a concert performance. It's the art of creating the effect of a concert performance.
So, welcome to this episode of Fresh Produce. I got Shark with me in the house, and I haven't mentioned who Shark is, but those who have been to the studio know about Shark. But Shark is the coolest dog. She is my wife's dog, and she's 14 years old. And when I set up my studio here, Shark never left my side. So every session I had, she would not leave the room, and she just kind of stayed and became like the studio mascot. So if you ever hear me talking about Shark, that's my dog. So two things. First of all, Merry Christmas and safe travels for everyone who's out and about during the holiday season. And also what we're going to have coming January, we're going to be doing a giveaway. So I'm going to do a little bit of promotion on this episode and the next. Mary Beth will be here with me promoting the next one. And we're going to be giving away some t-shirts and a free recording session. So if you like free, this is how you get put in the drawing. So you want to go to the YouTube channel or the SoundCloud or both. Hopefully you would choose both. But if you're listening to this, you're probably on one or the other. So hit the follow tab on the SoundCloud or the subscribe button on the YouTube, and you'll automatically be put in the drawing. Those who've already subscribed or followed on those mediums, you're already in the system, so we'll pull your name there. And so we'll just jump right in. First up is Glen Slaven. And so I met Glenn back in 2011 through Josh Slaven, his son. At the time, I was using this equipment to record like rap and hip hop. So I was super excited to use the gear on like a different instrument. So the singer-songwriter type vibe. And Glenn is like a country writer. So I didn't have a lot of knowledge in this genre, and technically I didn't have a lot of knowledge in recording at all besides recording myself or like my own demos. You know, Glenn had the most powerful voice that I'd heard. So and not only his voice, but his guitar playing was just really free. Like, you can tell that the dude has been doing this all his life, and he was just really good, straightforward, and came in, played, and he was done. So the song I chose for this episode is just one of my favorites that he did, but chosen because it shows a softer song and a softer side with his powerful vocal that doesn't overpower this brittle song. And one of my favorite things is that the guitar playing is kind of loose and has a few flaws, which I love, and it's like catching a blooper in a movie, or that's the best way to describe it. It's like when you catch a blooper in a movie, because it gives you like a glimpse into reality, and it just kind of like distracts you from the story and the acting, and you see that, oh, this is a real person acting. So I really like that feeling of seeing this rawness and reality, and I see that in music. So it's really cool to see imperfection. So you're listening to Fresh Produce, and here is Just a Word. This was recorded in 2011 and in Mississippi and performed by Glen Slaven.
People, you have heard that love is just a word, but I know that's not all. This life's full of pain can drive us
Blaec came for a session earlier this year, I think around June, and I heard him play the song that we were going to record a few times to get an idea of how to approach it. And it's 2 songs in one, the first part being soft and melodic, and the second part being punchy and in your face. So we scouted my house for the best spot. So I literally had him walking around with his guitar while he was singing, while he followed me around the house, and I just listened to how the room sounded in a specific part of the room. We ended up settling in the living room, and I have some pictures of that, actually. I don't have any pictures of Glenn. I was trying to look for some, but I couldn't find any from that session, but I may check. So we chose the living room for his overdub vocals. The whole song, the guitar and the main vocal all the way through, was recorded in a semi-dead room that's more dampened, like carpet and some sound absorbers, just to kind of keep it punchy, because that was the root of the song. And he added a few overdub guitars as well, and the first half is what we did the overdub vocals on. It was the airy melodic part. So I set up 2 mics for that part beside each other, pointing left and right, and I had him stand. I told him just stand in the middle, and as he listened back to the song and did these overdub vocals, I wanted him to just kind of like sing left and right into these microphones, so it kind of sounded like he was in the left side or the right side. So he was panning himself live instead of panning it during the mixing. So I could talk about this all day, but I'll go ahead and let you hear and play his song. This is Fresh Produce, and you're listening to Forest by Blaec Bejarano.
Oh, take me by the hand, you lead me further than no other can. Oh, take me green and shores of sand.
Last but definitely not least is Kate Engelmeyer. I also met her this year at an open mic night at Waterboys. Around that time, I had bought a Tascam 4-track tape recorder, and I invited her to record one of her songs on it so I could, break it in properly, of course. She was super modest and very talented. She brought her acoustic guitar, and I explained the process that we were gonna take for the recording. So I put an AKG mic on her vocal, like a C414, and I think I did an SM57 on her guitar. But after we recorded, I took a few days to listen to it, and I remember messaging her like, "Hey, thanks for coming by. You did an awesome job, and I was wondering if maybe you wanted to add a little more to the song, just to give it a little more depth, maybe add a couple of more instruments and maybe some backup vocals." So without hesitation, she was like, "Sure, yeah, let's do it." So she came back, laid down some backup vocals, backup guitar and violin, and the whole process was really cool because it's all mechanical, and you have to rewind the tape. So those 8 or so or more takes that she did to get the solid take done, we had to wait to rewind the whole tape, and it was a long song in the first place. So, it made the process last a lot longer. Now with Pro Tools and stuff, you can just click on a spot that you want, hit pause or hit the space bar, play, stop, click around where you want to. So this, you have to, set physical markers, rewind, record, and play at the same time. And since it's tape, you can drive the inputs, which is really cool. You get a little bit of distortion if you drive them too hard and stuff, but it's not like in the digital realm. And it's nowhere near what like a 2-inch tape machine is like, but this is a piece of equipment from the 90s, and it's cool to think that you're listening to the song, how it might have sounded back then. So I didn't do much for the mixing besides some EQ on the way to tape, and I did a little bit of balancing with the panning and the levels, and just kind of left it alone after that. Just the initial listening, balancing levels, and done. So you're going to hear this back, and it's going to be kind of noisy, and it's going to be imperfect, but that's what I love about this, bringing out the 4-track recording, how things would be recorded on them, and just kind of leaving it alone, letting it be raw. And so you're listening to Fresh Produce. This is Kate Engelmeyer, and this is her song, Maybe You Were Meant for Me.
Everything you've ever wanted and more is standing right outside the door to your heart, knocking gently. Oh honey, why can't you see I am waiting patiently with open arms. I don't wanna hide my feelings no more, 'cause I think you're the one I've been waiting for. Oh, but there's nothing I can do to make you love me. There's nothing I can do to make you see